Hey YouTube, this is Mr. 803 here, coming with my first ever deck profile. I'm running Cyber Dragons simply because I'm a big fan of how they work. I believe that Cyber Dragons is a very underrated set of monsters. A lot of people have been playing it more and more recently, simply because in the OCG they recently got Cyber Dragon Infinity, which, in honesty, in my opinion, it's a good thing, just because Cyber Dragons need some more support. But I really don't think Infinity is needed. Because I think with what you have now, Cyber Dragon is a very powerful monster, or it's a very, very powerful archetype, and it doesn't really get a lot of respect simply because it doesn't perform as well as Qlis or Necros or Qlis, however you want to say it. But I really think that if you play them right, Cyber Dragons is probably the most powerful monster type out there, simply because there's a lot of ways to get off your power. And as you'll see on my deck profile, mine's all about trying to get off the OTK as fast as I can. But anyway, starting off with the Cyber Dragon lineup, we start with the traditional 3 Cyber Dragons. As you know, Cyber Dragon is obviously the core of the deck, so you have to run 3 of them. He's easy to get out when you start playing this deck build, simply because there are ways you can banish other cards, you can use Cyber Network, Cyber Repair Plant. He's actually one of the easiest monsters to get out, even though he's a rank 5. Or, I'm sorry, a level 5. He's not XC, so he's not a rank. But as for getting him out, one of the ways why I like to get him out is by using my 3 Cyber Dragon Core. Cyber Dragon Core, primarily, most people use him to search for Cyber Repair Plant or Cyber Network, and that's a very good way to bring him out to use him. But a lot of people forget that he has a graveyard effect too. Whenever he's banished or whenever he's in the graveyard, if you have no monsters on the field and your opponent does, you can simply banish Cyber Dragon Core, and then you can search your deck and bring out another Cyber Dragon. And since since Cyber Dragons, all the Cyber Dragon family that's in the deck counts as a Cyber Dragon, except for Cyber Dragon 2, you can easily bring out any Cyber Dragons in your deck and play him on the field. And the original Cyber Dragon is a good one to bring out simply because he's a 2100 attack point monster, and then that opens you up to bring out one of your 3 Cyber Dragon number 3s. I know a lot of people confuse the Cyber Dragon Dry with Cyber Dragon 2, but that's actually false. Cyber Dragon 2 would be Cyber Dragon's 5. Dry in German is 3. But continuing on, Cyber Dragon 3 is a good way to bring out, is a good way to work with the Cyber Dragon that you already bring out using Core, or you can just bring him out by himself by using the Core, and then you can bring out another one. Reason why he has to be ranked 3 in the deck is simply because he raises the levels of all this, I think it's Cyber Dragon monsters, to level 5, and that right there can set you up for your XC summons. But the only drawback is, if you do that, you can only bring out machine types, which, since I'm running a primarily only machine deck monster, then it really doesn't matter to me, simply because all my monsters in my extra deck are going to be machines. So that really helps me out in the long run. And then I'm also running 1 Cyber Dragon number 2. A lot of people choose not to run him simply because he's just not as good as other Cyber Dragons. But there was a time when only Cyber Dragon and Cyber Dragon 2 existed, so you kind of had to run Cyber Dragon 2. I mean, yeah, you have Proto Cyber Dragon, which a lot of people probably still want to run simply because he's more powerful than Core, and he does count as a Cyber Dragon on the field. But Cyber Dragon 2 was a quick way to get out a Cyber Dragon. All you had to do was show off 1 spell card, which, I mean, you have 10 of them in your deck, so you should easily be able to get one out. All you had to do was show off 1 spell card, and he became a Cyber Dragon, and you could power bond him with a regular Cyber Dragon to get out your Cyber Twin Dragon very easily. Or if you had 2 more in your hand, you had Cyber End Dragon. But I know this guy's not actually a Cyber Dragon himself, but I'm counting him in the group. I run 3 Cyber Valleys. I've seen some builds that have 1 or just 2, but personally I think running 3 is the best way to go, because it's the best way to get your search out. It's a good way to find cards that you need, and it really opens up the playing field a lot. And then one final one that kind of that's not a Cyber Dragon, but he can kind of go into the family, is Cyber El Tannen. I like to call him Cyber E just because I don't like saying the name outright. He's a good way to clear the board, and he gets everything out fast, and he also he gets power for each monster that you banish, So that's even more power that you have on your field, and that's opens the door for a lot of OTKs. If you merge him with the limited removal, like if you play him first and then you play limited removal, that really helps your chances because his original attack points become whatever the amount of monsters you banish times, I think it's 800, and then that's his original attack points. And with limited removal, it doubles the original attack points. So let's say you banish enough to get 3,200 attack points, and then you play limited removal. That's 6,400 right there. That's very close to OTK. Or you can even banish enough to get 400 or 4,000 attack points, and then play limited removal. That's 8,000. That's OTK right off the bat. But for the Cyber Dragon family, that's it right there. That's all for the Cyber Dragons. But I also like to play one Satellite Cannon, one Light Hexil Fusion, Reflect Bounder, and one Shining Angel. Shining Angel is another quick way to get out another Cyber Dragon. Of course, you would only be able to get out Cyber Dragon Core because, you can get out Cyber Dragon Core, you can get out Cyber Dragon Valley, or you can get out Cyber Valley, and really it opens up the field. It keeps you on the field a lot longer. It helps you survive. Reflect Bounder, I think everybody who runs a machine deck knows what he does. He's a good way to counterattack anything that your opponent does. Because, yeah, their opponents can destroy him, and you would still take the damage, but the attack points of the monster attacks would go right to him. So you may take 1,600, but then your opponent still takes 3,000 attack points, just because that's the monster attack points. The Light Hexil Fusion, kind of obvious, kind of pretty self-explanatory. You're running a machine deck, and he has a light machine monster. And the monsters you're going to bring out are, again, light machines, except for the Chimera Tech, which is fine, because since I'm running, since the trap cards I'm running kind of support him anyways, he really doesn't hurt anything. He's a good way to strengthen your lineup as well. And plus, he's a 1,000 attack point monster, and he's a 16 defense point monster. So he kind of helps. He doesn't do much damage, but he does help a lot. He does help a little bit. And I also run Satellite Cannon. Satellite Cannon, again, it's just, for me, it's a way to have my opponents kind of worried about what he's going to do as opposed to what I'm going to do. You know, a lot of people are going to try their best to try and get Satellite Cannon off the field simply because they see it there. I mean, I've seen decks that run 2 or 3 of them, and really, to me, that's overkill. If you're going to run Satellite Cannon, you have to build your deck around the Satellite Cannon, not around Cyber Dragons. Satellite Cannon, he gains attack points by each turn that he's on the field, and he can't be destroyed in battle. So a lot of times you have to use a trap card or a spell card to get him off the field, and by that time, you already have your hand set up for a quick OTK that you can use. You won't even need to use Satellite Cannon. And if they don't get him off the field, I'm pretty sure you can get up to at least 3,000 attack points before he even gets off the field, and he's a real good beater. But as far as my monsters, that's all I'm running for my deck. For my spells, I'm running the usual 3 MST, get rid of back row. I'm running 3 Cyber Repair Plants just so I can get my searches out. And where I differ from a lot of people is I only run 2 Power Bonds. Power Bond to me is a risk that nobody should have to take. You should only have to use it one time in a duel, and if it's in your hand, only reason why I run 2 is just for safety measures. I know a lot of people like to do 3 so they can get your better chance of drawing it, but to me, I don't really like the idea of being able to lose 8,000 attack points. I'm sorry, 8,000 life points just because I want to run Power Bond. If I'm going to fuse, I'm going to find another way to fuse my monsters together and save my life points. One Power Bond to me is enough. The only reason why I want 2 is because sometimes you have to discard a Power Bond, and that's in the graveyard. So instead of having to find a way to get it out of the graveyard back into your hand, you just have another Power Bond in your deck that you can just play right there. I also play 1 Limited Removal, 1 DDR, and 1 Constellar Belt. Constellar Belt, and make sure that no light monster can have their effects negated. That kind of sucks if you're playing the Lightsworn deck, but really the Cyber Dragons are very easy to compete with them, so it doesn't really hurt you too bad. DDR is a quick way to get back your monsters, and limited removal, like I said, it builds your attack points. And this deck is all about OTKs. So the more OTKs you get, the better you are. And that's it for my spells. For my traps, I'm running 3 DNA Surgery. I like using this simply because it's a good way to bring out Cyber Fortress Dragon. I'm sorry, Cyber Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, simply because you get to use all the monsters on the field. And if they're all machine, then that just helps you out even more. and it really helps against Necros as well. It's a good way to clear back row. It's a good way, it's a good way to clear all the field, your opponent's side of the field, simply because all you're going to do is you're going to send one Cyber Dragon to the graveyard, even if you don't have anything on your side of the field. That helps even more. You have a DNA Surgery face down, and you bring him out. You flip him face up, and then you have a chance to just simply take every single monster on this side of the field, send them to the graveyard, and then you can bring out your Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, who will have at least 2,000 attack points. And to me, that is great. And if you put him with limit removal, that's 4,000 as well. I also run 2 trap stuns. It helps me get rid of back row, and it helps me be able to save my monsters whenever I'm in danger. I've had plenty of duel. I like to run this. I've never played this competitively. I've only played it on Dueling Network and Death Pro. And on April 18th will be my first competitive tournament, so we'll actually see how it works. But as far as Dueling Network and Death Pro goes, it really helps me whenever I have to do a skill drain or anything like that that would kind of hinder my Cyber Dragons useless. But if you play it wrong, it can really come back to bite you. So because I'm running 2 Cyber Networks, and I don't like to run 3 because it gets cloggy and it helps, and I really need my extra space in my deck. So I only run 2. Only because when the effect resolves, it's gonna get rid of your back row anyways. So that's a good way to make sure that your back row is safe, simply because you only have 1 and you don't really have to play that much back row after that. I also like to run 1 Call of the Haunted, simply because it's a good way to get monsters back, and I also run 2 Deep Prisons. To me, it's back row. It's kind of like Trap's version of Mystical Space Typhoon, only but doesn't negate, But as far as my traps, that's what I run. I don't like to run Vanity's Emptiness simply because I don't think that Vanity's Emptiness works in this deck. It kind of, like Vanity's Emptiness to me, it hinders decks that run it more than it helps them. A lot of people don't realize that. But if I did decide to run it, I guess it would help since I have Constellar Belt. But I just choose not to. As for my extra deck, some of these cards I'm going to place, you're going to see face down on the back side of the card. The reason why I'm doing this today is simply because it's not that I don't have them. Some of them I don't have, but that's not the reason why I'm doing it. I'm going to do it simply because I don't have them or they're not in my possession, but I do plan on running them in my deck. As for my extra deck, I'm running 3 Cyber Dragon Novas. To me, that's one of the core reasons. That's the core XYZ of the deck. You can enter any Constellar Belt or any other kind of monster that you need, but you have to have Cyber Dragon Nova in order for this deck to work. Reason being is because it's not so much for his effect on the field as opposed to his effect when he leaves the field. When he leaves the field, if it's through an effect, you get to bring out any fusion type monster from your graveyard that has Cyber Dragon in it. So you can bring him. So you do that, and you can bring out Cyber Twin Dragon, which I happen to run 3 of. And then that's a 2800 beater that you just brought out simply because your opponent decided he didn't want to deal with Nova. Now he has to deal with Cyber Twin Dragon, who has a 2800 attack point and he can attack twice. Cyber Twin Dragon, I run 3 of him as opposed to 3 Cyber End Dragons, simply because I think Cyber Twin Dragon has the less drawback from Power Bond, and he also has the best advantage. Yeah, Cyber End Dragon has piercing battle damage, but if your opponent blocks the attack, there's no way you're going to get through. Cyber Twin Dragon, if he blocks 1 attack, you at least have another attack to get through, and you have another chance to go. I also run 3 Chimera Tech Over Dragons. I run 3 of these as opposed to 3 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragons, simply because I like the way Chimera Tech Over Dragon works. So Chimera Tech Over Dragon has a lot of power, and he gets to attack more than just once. He's kind of the Cyber Twin Dragon of the Chimera family. I also run 2 Cyber End Dragons. He attacks twice. He doesn't attack twice, but he does have his battle piercing damage. And I also run 2 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragons. Chimera Tech Fortress to me is a nice monster. Yeah, and it's a good way to clear the field. But if you're not trying to clear the field and you have enough space, you might as well just go ahead and hit Chimera Tech Over Dragon and go for game. Because to me, Chimera Tech Over Dragon has a lot more upside than just, okay, I cleared your field. You have a lot of cards in this deck anyways that's going to clear the field. And then you have Chimera Tech Over Dragon who's going to take care of the rest for you. So, yeah, that's my extra deck. I know it's not a lot in the extra deck, and there is a lot of room to improve, and I plan to do so in the future. But for right now, that's all I need for right now. At least that's how I feel. We'll see after I play my first tournament. For my extra deck, I'm running 3 Cyber Larvas. I don't usually put all 3 of them in at the same time, but whenever I do, it's a good way to make sure that I'm getting my that I'm actually able to stay in the duel a lot longer. Healing Wave Generator and another Reflect Grounder. To me, that's just, again, it's a way to stay in the game, keep your life points. As for my spells, inside of my extra deck, I'm running 1 Mega Force, Evolution Burst, Fusion Substitute, Mecha Machine Armor, and Different Dimension Capsule. I like to run Different Dimensional Capsule simply because it's a good way to get back a monster that I just discarded from Cyber Network, and it's a quick, and it's kind of just like Different Dimension Reincarnation. Only this time it's a lot it's a lot better because you don't have to get them back instantly. You get them out your second turn and you go straight to your hand as opposed to reborning them right to the field, which your opponent can use like Torrential Tribute and send them right back to where you came from. Megamorph. The reason why I side deck Megamorph is simply because I don't like the idea that I can end up losing I can end up losing double the amount of attack points that my monster has simply because I have more attack points than my partner. I use him in my side deck simply because it's a good way to go to an OTK. Because if you attach it to Limited Removal and you use Megamorph, that's a 16. Just going off of Cyber and Dragon, that's a 16,000 attack point monster, and that's just damage to your opponent. Your opponent's just not going to love you after that. It's kind of going to be really, really salty. I've actually had a couple people on Dueling Network try and call it admin, and it's actually been confirmed that you can overlay the both of them together. For my traps, I use Call of the Haunted, Non-Aggression Error, Malevolent Catastrophe, one more Cyber Network, and XYZ Wrath. XYZ Wrath, sometimes I switch it out, but I just needed another space, and I really like what it does. It kind of helps you whenever you want to bring out more XYZ monsters. And plus, you get to bring back another XYZ. Like, you get to destroy XYZs, and you get to, like, with Cyber Dragon Nova, you really have the upper hand in that situation. I also run 1 Cyber Network, 1 Malevolent Catastrophe, simply because Cyber Network, at times, it can call for 3 Cyber Networks in your deck, but it doesn't always call for it. So that's why I put it in the side deck. Malevolent Catastrophe, it's kind of like a bait and switch, really. Because if you play it with Cyber Larva and then they attack, yeah, you can lose your Cyber Larva, but they also lose their back row. Which, if you're playing against Qlis, that comes in handy a lot, because Qlis love to use this Pendulum Zone, because that's their only way out. I've never played a Pendulum deck, but they didn't use a Pendulum Zone. So if you play the Qlis and they attack, you simply just take away their entire back row. So that's a good way to get rid of that. Non-aggression area, it's a good way to stall, and it makes sure that you get at least 1 more turn to stay alive. Call of the Haunted, it's just another way to bring back Cyber Dragons, and I really like the way that Call of the Haunted works. Especially with Monster Reborn and Premature Burial ban right now, it's kind of the only way that you can bring back monsters that won't hinder you. The only downside is that if you play with Cyber Network, you're going to lose the monster that you bring back, but sometimes it's a risk that you have to take, simply because you don't want to lose life points. It is YuGiOh after all. But anyways, that's all I have for today. If you like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. If you don't like it, leave a thumbs down, and still leave a comment. Let me know what you didn't like about it. Let me know what you did like about it. If you believe Cyber Dragons has a way of getting stronger, or if you think Cyber Dragons is too weak, just let me know in the comment sections below. Leave your questions or thoughts about it. And if you're in the Columbia, South Carolina area, I will be entering my first tournament at the Fine Art of Baseball at the Columbia Place Mall off of Two Notch Road. I also have a trade binder, which I will show in my next video. At the moment, I am not selling 101, although that could change because I don't know how well it's going to work with that trade. But if it doesn't change, then 101 won't be there. So when I upload that video, just keep in mind that some of the cards that's in there, I'm already in the process of trading. But for right now, that is it. And click the subscribe button so you can have my next videos in your box the next time you subscribe. And until then, I'll see you later. Have a good day.